Hey everybody, and welcome to Boston, Massachusetts. Today is March 29th, 2023. It's about 11 a.m. and it's about 40 degrees out with a little bit of a chilly breeze. Today I'm going to walk down Cambridge Street, which is behind us, but you can't do Cambridge Street without doing Government Center. So we're going to walk through Government Center first. And first we'll be going by the Sears Crescent building, which is this building here. And it was constructed in 1816 as a series of federal commercial row houses. At the corner, we have the Tea Kettle here, the location of the steaming tea kettle in 1873. Trade sign commissioned by the Oriental Tea Company that was located on a Court Street building demolished in 1976 during the construction of Government Center. This is also the corner where William Scollay owned a 4-story building, and that is relevant because this used to be called Scollay Square. It was called Scollay Square from 1838 to around 1962. Of course, it was named after William Scollay, who owned the building that was on the corner of Cambridge and Court Street. He was a local developer and militia officer who bought the building I just mentioned in 1795. It was the last stop on the stage line, and the conductor would say last stop Scollay's building because the stop didn't have an official name. So people unofficially called it Scollay Square from around 1795 until it was officially changed in 1838. Scollay Square was bulldozed down to make way for the current Government Center in City Hall Plaza in the 1960s. And here is the Boston City Hall. This was built in 1968 and is an example of brutalist architecture, which is characterized by minimalist constructions that showcase the bare building materials. Some people call it an eyesore. I don't know, I'm okay with it. And of course we have the Government Center Tea Stop, which is at 1 Cambridge Street in Boston, Massachusetts. It was originally called Scollay Station and opened in 1898 for the Green Line, 1916 for the Blue Line. It's funny because they still have the mosaic signs that say Scollay under in the Blue Line area. They were unearthed after being hidden behind the Blue Line signs for around 50 years. It's now shown prominently on the Blue Line platform. Government Center train station was part of the original Tremont Street subway tunnel, which is the oldest subway tunnel in the entire United States. Anyway, we're going to continue down onto Cambridge Street. Sorry, that was a lot to say, but there was a lot of stuff that happened in this area. It's actually quite a nice morning out right now. I know some people have mentioned that the city seems kind of quiet, but it's mostly because I've been doing these during weekday mornings. You can see Boston City Hall engraved in the stone here. And here is Center Plaza. A little bit of a headwind today, so you might hear a little bit on the microphones. And the next stop is going to be the Old West Church. It's down the street a little bit, but it is an historic church. So we're going to cross over Sudbury Street. There's the 7 News building. So Cambridge Street technically ends, I believe, at Mass General Hospital. But I'm going to continue over the Longfellow Bridge today, because it should end in Cambridge if it's called Cambridge Street. Hopefully as I round the bend here, this wind will calm down. So I thought that something I forgot to mention about Scollay Square back there was that it was really considered to be a very seedy area, mostly because there was burlesque shows, a couple of tattoo parlors, and some taverns there. One of the reasons why they bulldozed it down was in a city revitalization program. There's Bowdoin Street Tea Stop. I believe that was built in 1916 when they ran the East Boston Tunnel in. Here, hold on, I'm going to stop for a sec. Sorry about that. If you didn't hear me over the siren, I was saying that I believe the Bowdoin Street Tea Stop opened in 1916, as well as the Government Center Blue Line platform, because they had run the East Boston Tunnel in, which connected East Boston to this side of Boston, which we have today. In fact, I rode that in today. Same tunnels I used back then. We're going to cross New Chardon Street. Okay, so we have the Old West Church coming up right here. I'll start talking about it now. The Old West Church is a historic United Methodist church at 131 Cambridge Street. It was built in 1806 and designed by architect Asher Benjamin. On the screen. Between 1894 and 1960, the building served as a branch of the Boston Public Library. Since 1961, the building has been owned by the United Methodist Church. Here it is. There's another view of the Old West Church here. Okay, we'll continue on. Oh, and we have the Otis House Mansion right next to it. Yes, okay, this was the mansion of Harrison Gray Otis. It was designed by Charles Bulfinch, and completed in 1796. While Otis was serving as the U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts. Later that year, he was elected to Congress, where he served 2 terms in the House of Representatives. It is the last surviving mansion in Bowdoin Square in Boston's West End neighborhood. Interesting. This house is an excellent example of federal architecture. I believe our next thing will be Mass General Hospital. There's the Boston Fire Department. One of them, at least. That's a pretty one. I'm glad the wind sort of calmed down here. I like how they have to say this is a bike lane, even though there's clearly bike symbols up and down it. But I get it, it's on the inside of the curb, which I like bike lanes that do that. Crossing over Blossom Street. Take a look across the street. They're doing some serious construction here. I wonder what they're building here. I can look it up when I get home. Alright, so I believe we're going to be approaching Mass General Hospital. Mass General Hospital is the third oldest general hospital in the United States. On September 1st, 1821, the hospital admitted its first patient into the building that had been designed by Boston architect Charles Bulfinch. So it doesn't name the specific building, but it was the one that was designed by Charles Bulfinch, who has designed a lot of stuff in Boston. There's a Harvard Gardens across the street. See the Yawkey Center for Outpatient Healthcare. Here's looks like the parking garage for this part of Mass General Hospital. Okay, so here is the historic Mass General Hospital Charles Bulfinch building. Beautiful, isn't it? We're coming up actually on the Charles MGHT stop too, which opened in 1932. It's named for a nearby Mass General Hospital, of course, and Charles Circle, which it is elevated above. So I guess that's what this little loop around is called, is Charles Circle. And before I go over the Longfellow Bridge, I think I'm going to cross over to the other side because you get better views over there. course, I have some historical information on the Longfellow Bridge when I get over there. A lot of traffic in this area. Okay, so there you go. There's the Charles Circle sign. We're just going to head over the bridge now into Kendall Square, basically. So let's see. The Longfellow Bridge was built in 1901. It replaced its predecessor, the West Boston Bridge, which was built in 1793. Got beautiful views up here. Really nice with the blue skies and everything. It was originally known as the Cambridge Bridge, but was renamed in 1927 after local poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Longfellow wrote a poem about the original bridge called The Bridge, not surprisingly, in 1845. It connects Boston's Beacon Hill neighborhood with Kendall Square in Cambridge. Now it's interesting, this is something I've lived in Boston my whole life, basically. And apparently it's also known as the Salt and Pepper Bridge due to the shape of its central towers, which is weird. I've never heard that before. I don't think I've heard a single person call it the Salt and Pepper Bridge, but apparently it's a thing. And of course it also connects the MBTA Red Line between Cambridge and Boston. There's no train here right now, but here are the tracks. Hopefully one will go by while I'm walking here. They usually go by every few minutes, so there should be one. Still early in the season. There's no sailboats out on the water, unfortunately. But still, a glorious view here. You can see the Google distance in the distance there, which is in Kendall Square. I don't know if you can do the G in the just behind the red brick building on the right. By the way, I've walked over this bridge a few times in the summer, so I do believe I have some sailboat footage if you check my channel. Crazily enough, I have about I think around 430 videos as of now, so I've covered a lot of corners of Boston and other parts of New England, especially the North Shore. I just started really doing like historical accounts like I'm doing now, though. As we come up over the crest, you're going to see more of Kendall Square come into view. Okay, there's a train coming up on my right. So you might know I'm recording in binaural audio, which is stereo, so if you listen to that through headphones, you should actually kind of feel the position of the train. And there's a duck boat going through the river right now. Pretty cool. I've only rode a duck boat once in my life, and that's when I had friends in town. Except it's amazing that you don't do the touristy things in your own city oftentimes. the view of the duck boat going. Glad to see those back in action now. And I guess this is one of the salter pepper shakers. There's Memorial Drive along the Charles River here. So I think I mentioned technically this is not Cambridge Street here, I believe. But I don't think you enter Cambridge until down on the other side of this bridge, so I just wanted to make sure I made it all the way to Cambridge. You can see much more of Kendall Square now. We're basically entering Kendall, I believe, right at the end of this bridge. Would be considered Kendall Square. You can't see it from over here, but there is the entering Cambridge sign. We've not crossed it yet. It's about 100 yards from here, probably. See the steam coming out up there. You can hear it working too. Alright, so my walk is just about coming to a close. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you like my channel in general, make sure that you are subscribed. That is if you just want to see all my new content. And check out my photography at WayneOxfordPhotography.com. And you know what? I'll just walk down here to the Charles River before I say I'll see you next time. It'll get me a few extra steps too, you know. It's nice. Try to get as many steps as possible. Here's a Charles River Basin Reservation. Bit of a glare to the sun today, but beautiful blue skies. I'm not going to complain. It's actually really nice down here. I'm going to cross over. You can see geese are out. I don't know if it's that time of year. We're going to see the baby geese all over the place soon. Hey, buddies. And a good meal on that grass. Okay, no one's coming. A little bit of a reflection on the Charles, even though it feels pretty breezy out here. Here's a look back at Kendall Square. All right, I guess I'll end it here. So, I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate it.